Welcome to Like Mother, Not Like Daughter podcast, where we share conversations of womanhood that bridge the gap from one generation to the next.
That's right. Our hope is that this podcast sparks honest conversations within families to strengthen the family bond.
Like the way you do it, baby. Let's be honest about it. There's a way around it. I like the way you do it, baby. Let's be honest about it. There's a way around it. I like the way you.
I am one of your hosts, Jenn Rodriguez.
And I am Carolyn Little.
Yes, welcome back to another episode, you guys.
Yes.
I am really excited about this one personally. It's called Don't Touch My Hair.
Yes.
Lessons on creating your own beauty standards.
Right.
Oh my gosh, we know that as women, beauty standards is not only a hot topic, but it's a part of our everyday life.
Yes.
And no matter what phase you're in, whether you're single, dating, married, or just embracing who you are or trying to learn who you are, those beauty standards can either hinder you from really being yourself or they can cause you to break out of your shell, just depending on how you view it. So we're going to talk about some of those honest struggles and how to just create your own beauty standards and be confident in yourself.
Over the years, things have definitely changed in the beauty area. And I'm going to say the same thing, not even just for women, but also for men. I mean, you have men that are cleansing their skin, nurturing their, entire body. And the women are doing the same thing. Like we're nurturing our body. We're using more oils, lotions. Now, we're still sticking to that good old Vaseline. And some of us are still sticking to that
cocoa butter. That cocoa butter.
Things have changed over the years.
They have.
They
They
really
have. And I feel like now it is more inclusive, which is great.
Yeah.
But I think that it's important to have some sort of standard that you do live by so that you're still expressing yourself, but you're walking in that excellence.
Exactly.
I always say first impression definitely makes a difference.
Yes, it does.
So self-acceptance and expression is at an all-time high right now. And when it comes to how often people shower, or it comes to how often people cleanse their skin or what have you. I mean, I feel like at this point, there are almost no rules.
Right.
But one thing I'm getting back to understanding, especially as a businesswoman or someone who represents a corporation or even represents your own business, that there is a balance. So for example, I know a couple years ago, I don't even know if I'll use this example, but one day...
You always sit and you always leave it in, but go ahead.
I know. Okay, so a couple years ago, I was traveling with someone and we went to the airport and we were all excited and all that stuff, right? But then we started to run into people that we knew. And immediately, some of the people that I was traveling with was like, oh, I don't know if I would have worn what I worn to the airport, i.e., like a bonnet or dress like this, if I knew that I was going to be running to a bunch of people at this hour that I knew. And I know that actually became a hot topic. Monique, the comedian, commented on it and said, babies, don't go to the airport with the bonnet on. Don't do it. Like, and it just caused this whole uproar of like, well, hey, it's my body. I can do whatever I want. People can accept me however I am. And I think that there is a balance with that. I know that for me, I've worked for corporations where when you travel, they expect you to still be in dress code because you're still representing their brand.
Exactly.
And you have no idea who you might run into, what might happen. And honestly, if they're paying for them tickets and they're paying for that fare, they're saying, hey, we need you to be on point and standard. And honestly, that helped train me to think, well, man, I want to do that for myself. Even if I am at the airport, it's almost unfortunate, but it's a reality. You're kind of treated a little differently when you really take care in how you look. There's actually a study that I saw, an experiment that was done on TikTok where people got their seats upgraded just by how they dressed going to the airport.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying there's no right or wrong, but there is a consideration on how you present yourself, even in those moments where you're a little more lax.
Yeah, and there's an old saying that says that beauty is expressed from the inside out. So what you put into your mind usually gives us the confidence or not give you the confidence to walk in. So when we are elevated to certain positions, like you were saying, we're also elevated to that look. They expect you to look away, act away. You know what I'm saying? And can you be yourself? Of course.
Yeah.
But baby, when you step outside, when you go outside, there are certain standards that you need to uphold.
Yeah.
These were best of pride, meaning my mama standards. This was the rule of the house. You don't go outside with no PJs, no rollers in your hair.
That's what she said.
Look your best when you go out, because you never know who's coming back in with you. So keep your house clean. That was a rule.
Oh,
because
yes.
you never know who you're going to bring back in. Now nowadays, it is not the same.
I
have to say it's not, but still, I do keep, well, because of the whole pandemic thing. Some people still, run to people, hey, you want to come over? It's very seldom you say, hey, you want to stop by. When back in the day, you'd be like, you want to stop by and get a cup of coffee?
Right.
Or you just want to come over and hang out when you see somebody. But it was always the rule of the house, and it still is. When you leave your home, you never know who's coming back with you. So always tidy up, which does not take a lot of time.
Right. Absolutely. I definitely remember grandma. I definitely remember my granny. Even during spring break, winter break, we would go to Gary, Indiana, stay with my granny, God rest her soul. And she would wake us up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and she would say, all right, time to get up, get dressed. And we're like, we're staying in. Like, we're not going anywhere. We're watching, cartoons all day, eating bowls of cereal all day, having chicken and french fries. Like, that's what we're doing. We don't know what you're doing. But she said you never know if you might want to go somewhere. We might go somewhere. You never know if somebody might stop by. And one thing she said, along with grandma, she said, I ain't going to be looking any kind of way if somebody were to stop by, or if we go somewhere and you're not dressed, because you are a representation of not only yourself, but my care.
Exactly.
And if you're in my care, you're going to be together. You're going to smell good. You're going to be moisturized, all that stuff.
The best of your ability.
To the best of your ability. And it doesn't mean you have to have the most expensive things. It's just taking that care. So even for me, like, it even goes so far as to have a backpack almost at all times with an extra outfit or a change of clothes or a cute robe at the edge of the bed in case you have to exit quickly. So I personally leave like an extra pair of earrings in my purse or in my car or even by my bedside. I have a hat in my car. So that definitely was ingrained in us as a child, just to be prepared for those quick moments where things happen, plans change, right? I have the basics, I look good, I smell good, but just in case I need to elevate the moments, like notice, I have things in my car or around me. So now I'm really teaching my daughter, she's 8 years old. So I'm really teaching her the importance of self-care and tying beauty as, a means of how you really care for yourself.
Right.
It doesn't mean that you think you're better than other people because of the tags that you have or the labels that you wear, anything like that. It's not about that. It's just about, you feel different when you look good.
You do.
And
you do.
I think that's different than pushing beauty standards down someone's throat or pressuring them to look a certain way. It really is just about expressing yourself and not doing what's unrealistic, but just taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
So, for example, I had the honor of interviewing Tracee Ellis Ross for Ebony Magazine. Oh my gosh, y'all.
Tracee Ellis Ross.
That was such a full circle moment when she did Hair Tales, being able to talk to her about that. If you guys haven't checked it out, if it's still on Hulu, make sure you check that out, because it's a show that she produced with Michaela Angela Davis and Oprah. And man, it was so powerful to sit back and watch beautiful, especially like beautiful Black women, tell their stories about their hair journey, embracing their own hair, and how that ultimately tied into their confidence as a woman. Yeah. So I have to tell a very quick full circle moment story. My mom was like, can we stick to the script? This is a testimony, y'all.
Not so much just the script, but
I know, time. So here's a full circle moment for you guys. And every time I tell this story, I get chills, but I have to tell it. So speaking of Tracee Ellis Ross, when I actually used to work corporate, when she was releasing Pattern, she, Pattern, boo, Pattern Beauty.
Pattern now.
When she released it, she stopped by and we got a chance to do a Q&A with her. And people got a chance to ask questions about hair, textured hair, how to style it, how to overcome certain stigmas. And it was amazing to just be right there with her. Yeah. And I remember I was sitting next to one of my friends who was such a good friend. She kept looking at me like, yo, you look like you really have a question. This is Tracee Ellis Ross. You need to ask her a question. She's like nudging me. And I was like, no, I'm just a little nervous. I don't know what to say. And she's like, girl, seriously, like time it's almost up. You better make your move. And of course, as sure as I raised my hand, time was up. I didn't have a chance to really ask her a question or get to say anything. And I honestly had to choke down a few tears because I was like, man, I really wish I had the chance to ask her a question. Even though I know about textured hair and I know a lot of different things, I should have at least got a chance to just look at Tracy Ellis Ross and have a conversation. A year later, working for Ebony Magazine, I got a chance to not only get like 30 seconds with Tracy Ellis Ross, but a good like 5-8 minutes with her, talking about hair, talking about confidence, really just asking some questions about how that's tied into her self-expression and, just all types of things. So I say all that to say that never be afraid to shoot your shot when it comes to information. When you have somebody in front of you that you admire that can really help you know what I mean, learn some information about your beauty, don't be afraid to ask, don't be embarrassed. But you just never know when you might have that full circle moment. So just be ready. You got to stay ready.
Yes, and I love pattern. I'm gonna tell you, my daughter gifted me a couple of weeks ago. I love the leave-in conditioner, the shampoo, and then there's another conditioner. But baby, I tell you about that pick.
I was about to say the pick is the one.
The pick is it. I love that pick. So shout out to Tracy Ellis Ross. Thank you for pattern. I love it.
Yes,
I love it.
Yes. Absolutely. So who remembers getting a perm, or when you were little and you wanted to get a perm? I need you to tell this story. So we weren't allowed to have perms in the beginning, but eventually you caved. So what caused you?
I didn't cave. Now it was just after a while. What I wanted to happen was to let your natural hair get a chance to grow. Because when you're, and you should know this, like when you're between a baby, then you go to an infant stage, you go to a toddler stage, you go to a high school stage, your texture of your hair changes. It doesn't stay the same. And so I wanted that texture to have it a time to give it a time to change and form into your own natural hair before I start putting relaxers or perms on your hair. Okay. Now, the one thing was, it wasn't a relaxer, it was that she straightened your hair. That was the press and comb look that she gave you. Not so much as a relaxer, but she straightened it and, just straightened out your hair. So that was a big thing. But I wanted your hair to get a chance to come into its own. You know what I'm saying? And not try to straighten something that was already straightened or curl something that was naturally curly.
Right.
And so that was the issue of why I didn't, want you guys to have perms. And so now, with their own children, like their dad would say, I just sit back and watches the fun.
Oh my God.
Nobody want to put any chemicals in their baby's hair right now. My peeps over there in Atlanta keep that stuff coiled, twisted, cute as can be. But don't talk about straightening it out or even blow drying it. Not now. Hello. So
That's true.
Just saying.
I am a little bit more picky with my child's hair now that I understand you want their hair to be natural. And even with Mercy, she's Black and Puerto Rican. So her hair sometimes is tamed and agrees with what I'm trying to do. And sometimes that's very wild child. And I'm like, girl, just do you right now because I can't. Okay, I can't. But at the end of the day, she is at that age where she's starting to see a difference between her and some of her other friends and trying to try styles that maybe can't be easily accomplished, but she loves her hair. And right now, if she loves it and she wants it to be a little wild, I'm like, all right, let's tame it a little bit. And she's like, Mom, just let it go. I'm like, there's a difference between wild child and self-expression and bedhead. Okay.
You don't want the bedhead.
We're not doing the bedhead because it's going to mat, it's going to do all that stuff. But while she's confident in loving her hair and just embracing being different, I want to encourage that. So I'm not going to change it just to make it easier for myself to style her hair. I'm just going to find a good balance so that she understands that a part of your hair care is looking, tamed. But if you want it to be wild, child, be wild. Wow. Okay.
Live on the wild side.
Yes. And ain't nothing wrong with that. So looking back on my own hair journey, how I wore my hair really tied into my confidence at the time. And I think there's a difference between choosing your style because it's your style and based on what makes you happy and your preference. And then there's like letting that rule your confidence. So that's what I learned about beauty. And that's what I'm teaching my daughter. But even now, I'm a big wig wearer.
Yes, Lord.
Okay. Now sometimes that little hump this one right here, it's getting on my
kind of
nerves, child. I'm telling you what, I'm not gonna lie, it's not a bad thing to change what you're into. So I've been doing wigs for a couple of years now. And it was really because honestly, I just like switching up my hair, my style, all that stuff. And it gave me a chance to like express and try different things without necessarily, touching my natural hair, and I can let my hair grow. Now, I don't know, you guys. I don't know if it's the stigma of wig wearing and the idea of dating. Because then there's that question of, well, how long do you wear a wig before you take it off? Or how long do you wear a wig before you? And I can understand why some men might not like that. Because they're like, I want to see the real you. Mind you, I feel the same way. If you got a toupee or any kind of piece, I want to see what you're working with underneath that thing too. You got some dentures? I kind of want to know what it's like when you take them out.
Oh, not the dentures. Not the dentures.
I'm just saying, I don't judge. I have my preferences. But I can understand why. So now I am starting to, and again, I'm finding that balance between just trying something new and doing something different just to get chose. Like, I'm not trying to do that, but I do want to experiment with like K-tips or tape-in extensions or other ways to wear my natural hair, but still have the fun and the length and the professional look, but also be able to like put my hair up in a cute messy bun and not have to worry about something showing. You know what I'm saying? Like those are like, I feel like more acceptable forms of extensions. Rather than like a full on wig, because they feel like you've changed your identity. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? I'm a very take me as I am type of person. And I know that whoever's going to love me is going to love me for me. But I also know that there are preferences. And so I'm experimenting now and going to start experimenting with different types of extensions and other things other than wigs, just to see what happens. I don't know. Am I tripping for wanting to switch something up because it might be a little bit more preferred in the dating world? Am I changing my style? I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. Well, for me, I went to wigs to natural, back to wigs.
You did.
And I didn't, I'm okay with being who I am. Like this head on, head off. You know what I mean?
It's like my little hair hat.
Head on, head off.
Keeps my scalp warm and everything. I'm not against it.
But I love wearing my natural hair. I love seeing it. Now I always want to wear my natural hair, but then you get into weaves, you get into wigs. And I am back to wearing my natural hair now. Of course, it took the pandemic for me to go natural. But then when I did it, I asked you that. I said, "So what do you think?" He said, "That's your hair." He said, "That's you." So I was like,
I love that he didn't
it?
like.
And he was like, "Yeah, but he said that's how you look." Of course, he's seen me without a wig and without weave, so he knows knew what I would look like without one. But when he said that, I was like, "Baby, let's just go ahead for the natural then." And I've been natural ever since. Now, like I said, head on, head off. Going
I'm liking this.
Back a little bit, but this is not my. This is
her fun time.
This is my fun time, and then when it's over.
It's over. And I think there's a balance too. That's so good. I think there's a balance between it becoming your everyday because you don't necessarily like your hair, or maybe you don't like yourself and you're really self-conscious about it. And then just having fun and trying something new. So I don't feel like a wig trader or a simp or whatever you want to call it for just wanting to experiment with different types of extensions and just seeing what's going on. I want to, I see the little elevated babes and the, different trying different things. So if it can work with my hair type, then I'll try it. But at the end of the day, I say do whatever's best for you, no matter your reason, but just make sure that you're secure in who you are and know that you're beautiful no matter what.
Oh yeah, things have definitely changed. Like during my time, it was all about the press and curl, the Noxzema, the go-to, the afros, child. Even the office attire has really changed. Like now, back in the day, you had to have on like pantyhose or stockings with your shoes, no open-toe shoes. But now it's just totally different. But what's not judged for some of the hairstyles that you kept back in the day? You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Like now, I've read articles where people weren't hired because they might have had an afro or they might have wore their natural hair. And certain people just don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And so the issue is that that's just your hair,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you shouldn't be, no one should be threatened by your hair.
Right.
And you shouldn't be threatened to wear your
Your hair. Yeah.
So it's like, and I think that's where the beauty aspect of it is again. It's,
Mm-hmm.
you know, becoming beautiful from the inside out.
Right.
This is me. I'm confident in who
Mm-hmm.
I am. And so people have been fired because of their hair.
That's
You know,
that,
because of their hairstyles or whatever. And that, you know.
yeah, and that's
Yeah.
first of all, I love that here in Michigan we got Big Grinch who
Yeah.
signed like a really amazing I don't know what it was that she signed exactly, but she basically made it where you can be punished for your hair or something like that with your hairstyle, which is really major in the state of Michigan.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think that there is awareness of where you're trying to grow and go to in life.
Yeah.
And it's just, again, making sure that you're aware and that you're making the changes on the outside
Yes.
to elevate to that level.
Right.
So that's just something to keep in mind too.
Yeah. All right, so it's time to dive into some hot topics. And let's say we can bridge this gap, because it's important that we not only walk away understanding more about each other, but also have the confident outlook on building your own ideas from this podcast. All right, so here we go. Creating your own beauty standards.
Yes.
Jennifer, how important is beauty in your daily life? And I don't even know why you're being asked this question. Because you have all these TikToks and all these things out there about beauty, your hair, your skin, I don't think there's not one area that you have not covered concerning beauty. Your skin, you know, your makeup, you know, even just keeping things like simple, like how to have just a daily makeup, your clothes. Like I remember you did this one thing when we lived previously, and you actually talked about like how to wear your boy shirts, like doing this whole thing with boy shirts, what I thought was so
Oh, you're wearing like your boyfriend's shirt?
Yeah, wearing like your boyfriend's shirt. That was just so cute.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you've covered a lot. So, you know, how important is that? I don't even have to ask you that question about beauty in your life, your daily life.
It's important. And you know what's funny? I did not used to be that way. I was a tomboy for a really long time.
A very long
I
time.
used to actually wear my big brother's clothes, and he would get so annoyed. I used to wear his FUBU and JNCO jeans, the North Carolina jerseys, the hat. And I don't know if I did it because I was actually a style that I liked, or if it was because it was almost what was expected of me, being like one of the tallest Black girls and only Black girls in my grade. It was like I was expected to be kind of like this thug type of figure. I used to listen to Tupac and try to learn the words because like I'm expected to know who this is. So I better go ahead and know who this is if I'm going to be Black. But I think that part of it, first of all, was comfort. So I still am a tomboy in a lot of different ways. I love my sweats. I love my leggings. But I think once I got educated about beauty and working at Ulta Beauty, which I still am, shout out to Ulta Beauty, but working there and just how inclusive they were, helped me to learn from different people just how to accomplish those quick things and how to elevate my look at the drop of a hat. And also what helped was I didn't really understand or see my own beauty until other people started to recognize it. Like even in my boy clothes, people started to say, oh my gosh, like when you took your hat off, you look like Tyra Banks, or you look like Iman, or you look like Naomi. And I'm like, I do?
You know, we can see your face.
We can see your face. And I was like, oh, I guess I better show my face a little more often. So when I got to, that was mostly in middle school. So when I got to be a freshman in high school, I just changed my look. I started wearing more fitted clothes and styling my hair.
More makeup. Well, makeup.
I wasn't allowed to wear makeup till I was about 15. But once I started to wear a little bit of makeup. And now I'm hearing from all the boys, not then, but now I'm hearing from boys who were like, oh my gosh, I had a crush on you back in the day. I was like, you did? You didn't say nothing to me at the time, but okay, good to know, I guess. But I started to switch it up, but it wasn't until I, first of all, just got educated and I had a little more confidence. Now, what I will say is at that time, what was in was Jennifer Aniston. Courtney Cox.
Alouette,
that was in, but Abercrombie and Fitch. Aeropostale, like those were the standards, and they wouldn't even let you really shop there or hold. You couldn't really buy anything. I couldn't buy anything because of the hips and the butt, but that's where everybody I know, right? Everybody in my grade was wearing those types of clothes. So I had to learn what worked for me and my body, and what was realistic or what was functional for my body. A lot of that stuff I would bend down, and all of a sudden you seeing stuff you ain't supposed to see. So I just had to learn and educate myself on beauty and experiment. But eventually I found my own style and not put myself in a box. Now I pretty much do whatever I want.
And I was just thinking, back in the day, it was Alouette Fashion Fair. Oh my gosh. You had to have fashion fair.
I love me some fashion fair.
You didn't have fashion fair.
To this
you
day.
did not have the right makeup. It had to be all about the fashion fair.
Yes.
So it was really, really good.
Yes. So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
There's a proverb that says that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But God, made us beautiful inside and out. So what do you feel about that quote? Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, because everyone beholds something a little different.
And that's the key. Mm-hmm. It's in the eye of the beholder. So who's ever beholding your beauty at that time, it's in their eye of how you actually look.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if I'm looking at you, I can be like, wow, you're beautiful. And you would hope that you are beautiful inside and out. And I think that's one thing that we really, God has instilled upon me, to make sure that what people are seeing on the outside is happening on the inside.
That's so important.
That is so important. And I even, not to veer off, but I even, when your dad and I had a thing that was happening on the inside of our house, we were going to make sure people saw on the outside, because we weren't going to be confused
faking the
that one day you step out and you forget, oh, okay, hold on, we're supposed to act like this. It was just our natural way of acting. And I think beauty is the same way.
Yeah.
It's in the beholder. Whoever's beholding you at that time can look and come to their conclusion of the beauty of who you are.
It should exude. It should spill out.
Yeah, it should spill out.
Yeah. So what personality trait is the most important when we're talking about inner beauty? So how can that, exude out, or what personality trait exudes to where it's like, this person, they might not be super dressed to the nine and stuff like that, but they are a beautiful person. You see that glow.
I think kindness.
Yes.
Kindness.
It's so underrated.
It's very underrated. And it's just being pleasurable, smiling, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Just being kind.
Yeah.
I think that is the biggest thing. Speaking to people. Back in the day, you would walk down the street, you would say hello. You wouldn't pass another person without saying hello.
Yeah.
Someone couldn't give you anything, the littlest thing. If someone handed you anything, the first thing you would say would be thank you.
Yeah.
That is so, like, what happened to that? It's like, people think you owe them something.
Yeah.
And I think kindness, being grateful, you know what I'm saying? Here's a big one: integrity. Integrity is the biggest thing. Kindness is the biggest thing.
I 100% agree.
Kindness is the biggest thing.
Yes. And I love how you said about integrity too.
Yes.
Character. I think those are things that exude out. Joy. Like when you have real joy, not just happiness based on your circumstances, but you have joy that honestly only comes from the Lord. That exudes out, and that is so contagious, and that can make any person, regardless of how you look. When you have that joy on the inside of you that only God can give, joy and peace. That beauty is so rare. It's like a diamond in the rough. And I think that that's just a way that beauty can exude from the inside out, is having that joy.
Yeah.
Breathe in some love and let yourself unfold.
So each episode, we end with affirmations. We all can focus on around this particular topic. We all know that affirmations help set the intentions of our day and even in our week. So feel free to add these as part of your daily routine.
Yes, let's affirm.
Yes, let's affirm. I am beautiful inside and out.
I invest in the time and the resources to look my best.
God has given me everything I need.
I am enough.
Yes,
more than enough. More than enough.
Yes.
Thank you for listening and watching to this episode of Like Mother, Not Like Daughter podcast. We hope that this conversation will help bridge the gap from one generation to the next in your family.
We look forward to sharing our next episode, Pass the Salt.
Yes.
Cooking for the Soul. We're going to have some fun with that one. You can listen to the recap of this podcast and all of our other episodes on any podcast platform. But in the meantime, be sure to continue to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Yes.
Until the next time.
All right. Have a great day. Have a beautiful day.
Yes. Have a beautiful day.
Yes.
See you soon.
I love that.
I like the way you do